Hello Brutus, how are you today? I'm gonna tell you about your shoulder complex. Let's have a look at the bones here. So you've got your humerus and the head, you've got clavicle, you've got your acromion, you've got your coracoid process, and very importantly, you've got your scapula. As we see here, you've got fossa, suprafossa, and infrafossa. So we got with your joints, shall we? So you've got your AC joint here, and all movements occur passively, and this is basically because of the result of the scapular movement. There are 3 degrees of freedom in 3 axes: up, down, forwards, and back. And then let's have a look at the AC joint, which is synovial. The AC joint here. Synovial is saddle joint. Is the only true articulation between the axis, the skeleton, with the upper limb. It acts like a ball and socket, and it has as well 3 degrees of movement: elevation, depression, protraction, retraction, and axial rotation. It's also important to say that to improve congruence, you've got like an articular disc here. Now we've got the scapulothoracic joint, which is between this joint here. Let's have a look. This joint here, between the scapula and the ribs. It allows a large range of movement, but it lacks stability. And this is because it relies a lot on the muscles attached to it. Basically, they are serratus anterior, comes here, and subscapularis in the anterior part of the scapula. It allows full elevation though, and so in elevation we've got, let's put you up properly, 180 degrees. Whoa. And the last 60 degrees are achieved by the scapulothoracic joint, and from those 60 degrees, 65% is achieved by the scapulothoracic joint, and 35% from the AC joint. And then let's go back with the shoulder, the glenohumeral joint, which acts like a ball and socket, like the hip. However, in the upper limb, this joint is more for dexterity to move. So we've got loads of movements. We've got 13 movements in the shoulder complex. It's pure shape, as you see here, the glenoid, and it's got here a piece of cartilage labrum that is to improve congruence. We've got a greater tubercle and lesser tubercle that serves to attach muscles. We've got the, what's it called, this intertubercular groove. Yeah. Also, it's very important to say that muscles, the rotator cuff muscles, which are, let's have a look. We've got supraspinatus that comes here from the fossa into the greater tubercle. We've got the infraspinatus from the infrafossa into the greater tubercle. We've got teres minor coming from the lateral border of the scapula into the greater tubercle. And then finally we've got subscapularis coming all the way from the anterior fossa, from the anterior scapula into the lesser tubercle. It's also important to say that muscles in the shoulder complex act in different axes. This is called joint force couple activation, and basically they go in different directions to produce one movement. Okay, so for example, the serratus anterior would push the scapula that way. Then we've got trapezius contracting. We've got pex major going that way. So we've got different axes just to produce one movement. But it's also important because in the rotator cuff muscles, subscapularis will contract within infraspinatus and teres minor to downwardly translate and compress the head of the humerus into the glenoid. So it's a way to achieve more congruence in the shoulder complex. Right, let's have a look as well, all the things that we can say. Yeah, so for example, we said about the groove here, and this is important because this is where the long head of biceps will come and will attach into the supraglenoid inside the synovial joint. We've got also here the supracommodial space, and we've got bursa there. So the bursa, what we'll do is it's like a pocket of liquid and accommodates the movement of muscles. And obviously we cannot forget ligaments. We've got intracapsular ligaments, which is there like a 3-band forming a set shape on the anterior aspect. We've got superior, middle and inferior. We've got also extracapsular ligaments, which are the transverse humeral ligament to stabilize the head of biceps. We've got the coracoclavicular ligaments, trapezoid part and the conoid part around here. What else we've got? We've got the acromioclavicular ligaments, and we've got in the sternoclavicular joint, we've got also ligaments anteriorly and posteriorly here. And I think that is all. Okay, Brutus. See you later, fella.